everybody. We are here live in Cannes, and I'm here with the lovely Roxy Shih, who's just created a movie called The Tribe. Hello, Roxy.
Hi, Kimberley. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being here. It's so exciting. So you're here for a day at the Cannes Film Festival?
Yes, I'm only here for a day. My film is actually here at the market. It's making its market debut at Cannes under Empress Road Pictures.
That's amazing. So tell us the process of how you were able to get it into the market.
Yeah, so basically, I was a first-time filmmaker. It was my directorial feature. And, as for all indie filmmakers, we were trying to decide whether it was better to go the festival route or to just go straight to a sales agency. And then I went to AFM last year, and then I shopped it around, to maybe had 30 meetings, asking them if they were acquiring. I learned this from my mentor, who's a producer, and then basically showed them the trailer of what I had, told them it was a finished film, and then they were so into it, and they were like, this is kind of cut like an action thriller. This is what the market kind of wants, and yeah, let's discuss further and show us your film. So then Empress ended up taking it because I really like them, and they're such great people. And for me, that's the most important thing is to have a really authentic relationship, So then that's what happened, and that's how I got it in.
Absolutely. I think authenticity is the key.
Right.
And that's amazing that you were at AFM last year.
Yeah.
How do you think that this festival compares to AFM?
It is really intimidating.
That's true. It takes ages to figure out this festival.
Yeah, it's I think it's a shock. It's shocking, because it's it's almost like it takes over the whole city. I was just telling, Kim and John earlier that there are meetings on yachts and production companies that set up there. But I feel once you're integrated into it, you'll know how it works and it's easier to access,
That's definitely true. I think it's only taken us 2 years to figure it out. So I think that there's something special about having a meeting on a yacht, though. I don't think any other festival is as exclusive. Or yesterday we saw people walking around in dresses and walking to the red carpet, and we were just talking earlier about those good-looking men in the suits that do the security. But tell our viewers a little bit about what your film's about, because I think that's the main thing about the Cannes Film Festival is that for distribution or for showing, they show and distribute some great films, and yours is one of them. So please tell us more about it.
Well, thank you. My movie is basically about a post-apocalyptic world where the pandemic has destroyed most of the known world. And it focuses on the story of three sisters. And they're really young. The oldest one's about 20 years old, and she's been taking care of her two younger sisters ever since their family passed away. And then basically their father has always taught them to defend their compound because food and water is running out. But then she takes compassion on this one guy who comes asking for food and water, who's around her same age. She lets him in. It breaks the family apart. And he ends up not being who he says he is, brings over a whole group of men, and it's not just him. So they take over the compound, and it becomes basically a human study of how humans destroy each other and not necessarily what Mother Nature does to us. Yeah.
So kind of like Lord of the Flies or something.
Yes. I always think that humans are very gray, and I think it's so interesting how everybody has the best intentions, and sometimes with best intentions the disagreements come conflict, and then it's everybody wants what's best. Even the villains want what's best, and they believe that there's a way to save people and to save humanity and all this stuff, but sometimes it just creates more conflict and we all just end up destroying each other. It's just the way that we've been studying history and how history repeats itself and how humans continue to destruct ourselves. You can see in the media and the way that technology does it. It has all these thematic elements, which I really like. Also, I was looking for something low budget to shoot, so I needed to focus extremely on the human condition in order to make it work into a good film worth watching.
I think it's interesting how people go about making low budget movies, and the human element is basically what everyone wants to watch and is most connected to.
Right.
And it's interesting also because I think it's something in 2016 that people relate a lot more to, whereas in previous years, there was a lot more about the glamour of movie making and things like that, whereas now everyone can make their own film for a lower budget. And so I just want to know a little bit more about how that influenced your decision to cast actors and basically create a movie.
Yeah, you know what's interesting now, Kim, is that like there's so much discussion about like female representation and like female stories and all that stuff, and like you know, there's like ethnic filmmakers, diversity is a big topic. It's a really exciting time for independent filmmakers. And you were talking about like before it's like, oh yeah, like visual effects and like monsters and like all this stuff, but then at the end of the day, it's like what you really want to explore are like these stories that we want to tell, you know. And so with casting, you know, like I was really fucking lucky. Sorry, I bleeped that out. But you know, I got Russell Boast, who's you know, CSA, who like was really into the script, and he helped me cast these amazing actors who just really carried my movie. You know, and I learned so much from them. You know, like they're all in like these bigger TV shows, and they were willing to work for scale because they knew how important it is to like make films like this. You know, and it's like really creating like a voice. For me, like personally, I am only interested in telling female stories as a director because I don't know. I'm not a man. I don't know. You know what I mean? It all comes from someplace within. So it's very important.
Absolutely. And you're obviously very passionate, and that's really important as well, to get the ball rolling with the passion, being at places like Cannes Film Festival, really moving forward with the movie, because even though low budget movies can get made, sometimes they're just stuck in the process between being made and then distribution, which is a whole nother thing. So how did you sort of come in contact with the distributor that you're with at the moment?
I met them at AFM, and so it was basically it was like speed dating. You know, it's like you're having all these meetings with all these people. You're learning so much about which territories are looking for what, you know, and then it's like suddenly, because I'm a full-time producer, that's my job, and as a producer, you know, I know what my money can buy. I know how to stretch my resources. I know how to do all this stuff, but it's like, you know, it's interesting what kind of content people are looking for, you know, like what sells and what doesn't. Horror films, you know, all this stuff. And then it's exciting because like now there's like really great new genre stuff like Babadook, and It Follows. It's like a resurgent of fresh horror, like really well made, very tasteful, you know what I mean? So that's how I got in contact with them. And then like, you know, we cold called a couple of their like clients, and like they said really good things about them. And so I'm like, okay, well, you know, if my instinct is right. And I think big thing about being a filmmaker is following your gut.
Absolutely, you know? Absolutely, and good. And you know, Woody Allen opened with Cafe Society yesterday, and I think he's the main person that you could say follows his gut. I mean, every movie that he makes is really quite similar, and it's got its own genre. So I'm just wondering what your next step is in terms of after now that you've made this movie, and wishing you the best of luck and every success with it. And I'm sure it'll do well because you're obviously extremely passionate. It sounds amazing. Love to see it. But what, like, are you going to make another? Like, what do you think? What's the next thing for you?
Well, right now I just got hired to direct this series during the summer. It's called Dark Web, and it's a horror sci-fi anthology series, and it basically shows like the dark side of technology and like kind of what, and it's really, really freaking good. It's a little bit like Black Mirror, you know, from Netflix. If you guys want to check that out, it's very much like that in sorts of like exploring like the dark side of what technology does to society, does to our relationships, you know. And this is something I'm fascinated with, you know, and then also I'm working on my next feature film. It has to do with some thematic, you know, it deals with cannibalism, but you know, it just kind of like, it's just I have all these questions as a filmmaker, you know, and I kind of want to build a humanistic aspect to all characters, have people understand rather than judge and hate, you know, and then realize that we're all gray. None of us are black and white, you know. So it's really exciting, you know. I'm really excited to do that. I'm producing a couple features this year. I'm really excited about a Romeo and Juliet adaptation.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I know.
That's crazy. Is it going to be in the Old English language?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and it's going to be with all Asian American actors.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, you know, it's an exciting time. And then I'm doing another sci-fi movie called Compulsion later this year with my lead, Michael Nardelli, and that's going to be his directorial debut. So we're like really excited about like everything, you know, live your dream, live your life, just follow your gut, you know?
I love that. That's so great, and that's so true. And my goodness, thank you so much for joining us today.
I love you.
You're amazing.
And you too, John.
Okay, we're going to get coffee, but thanks so much. This is City Beat Live.